Welcome to the Lowland League Catchup. It's myself, Chris, and today I'm joined by Derek. How are you doing, mate?
I'm very well, mate. How's you?
Yeah, good. And Shaun, how are you doing?
Yeah, really good, thanks.
Well, we're back to cup action. Obviously, we have the South Challenge Cup, a lot of fixtures in that, as well as two Football Nation qualifying cup games. We'll start at East House's Lily versus East Kilbride at the new Battle Complex. They had obviously played before in the Football Nations Cup. Stephen Docherty and Dylan Henry came onto the bench for the first time from the reserve team. It took them a wee while, East Kilbride, to get into the game. It was half an hour in, free kick from the edge of the box. Rory Payton steps up and bends it straight into the top corner. It only took 2 minutes later for the ball played back inside the box, and Paul Woods is there to bury the ball by the keeper to make it 2-0. So it was 2-0 at half time for East Kilbride. And just a minute into the second half, Rory Payton drives through, rolls the ball to Woods, who slots the ball by the keeper for his brace. That pretty much put the game to bed for East Kilbride, but they did score another on the 68th minute. Cole plays the ball long to McGrath, who controls and beats the defender, then rifles the ball into the top corner. Pretty convincing win for East Kilbride, pretty much what we expected. East Houses, when they played them in the Football Nations, they did kind of do well against them. But East Kilbride kind of ended up running away with it. I think it was a bit of a similar situation in this one.
Yeah, I think, to be fair to Kilby, they've handled this one better than they did the last time. They've been in control of the game for, basically half hour in, and they've done the job pretty professionally. So that's going to be a good sign for progress getting made this season. But it was potentially a tricky wee tie, that, and ultimately they've came through just all guns blazing, and that'll be exactly what they need after a few kind of disappointing results in the league front, to just basically get back in the winning trail and get moving again.
Yeah, I totally agree. A fixture I think they needed after their game against Bonnyrigg the week before. Like you said at the beginning, I think it's really good to see a couple of the reserves getting a bit of game time towards the end as well. I think that was really good, and I suppose a positive to take away for East Kilbride was, they had a spread of goal scorers again, so you had three different players there finding the back of the net, albeit it's against lesser opposition, but it's experience nonetheless, and it's a bit of momentum for those boys there. So I think East Kilbride will be fairly relieved, and they'll be fairly happy, and it's a clean sheet as well, which is a good thing to see.
Derek, you weren't on the pod last week, but myself and Shaun kind of discussed, can East Kilbride still retain their title? What are your thoughts on that, mate?
There's no reason they can't, but they can't afford to drop any more points, is what I'd say. So I think the two of you guys, actually, when I listened back, I quite agreed with the ways you were looking at it, that it's going to be a tough old slog for them, but who's to say they can't? Because we've already seen that this league's not going to be a foregone conclusion for the bigger teams in it. Your likes of Kelty have dropped points, East Stirlingshire, BSC, and they've all got to play each other as well. So they need a wee bit of the rubbery green, but there's no reason that they can't retain it. Moving on to the second game, our roundup, and two teams that now know each other pretty well. Blackburn United playing host to East Stirlingshire, again in the South Challenge Cup at the Purdy Worldwide Community Stadium. I actually went to this particular game in pre-season, early doors in the pre-season, and it was a real good ding-dong contest, but it's interesting to see that Shire didn't have it their own way and only came away with the odd goal win. So all started off 20 minutes in, Matty Flynn making it 1-0, finishing a great flowing move with a header from right in the middle of the penalty box, beating the keeper with a pinpoint cross by that man Orr. 5 minutes later, Shire in the ascendancy were putting the pressure on. John Tapping this time, back post header, came back offside post, and they might have felt that they should have been 2 up going into half time, but they didn't take too long to get the second goal. 53 minutes on the clock, Matty Flynn again made it 2 for him and for Shire, again getting his head onto a good cross, and he's not a guy that's particularly known for heading ability, so that's something else to bear in mind. He's not all just sticking the ball in with the feet. But the game kind of descended a wee bit into sort of a Towsy affair after that. Flurry of yellow cards going about. There was what one of the Twitter accounts called a dive, but I hesitate to say it without seeing the actual incident from Stuart Devine. Dyer apparently wasn't too shy about telling them what he thought about it, and the two of them got a booking and the kind of stramash after. But then Stuart Devine had the last laugh, managed to get a goal with a minute left of the game. Shire held out though, and it was a 2-1, and potentially another tricky tie, given that the two sides do know each other quite well now. But they've done what they had to do. They're through into the next round, and they're quite keen to win this trophy, I'd suggest, like from the messages they've been putting out on Twitter and so on. On the first South Challenge Cup game they actually played, they'd put a list out of previous winners and talking about how they wanted to get their name on that list this year. So it's clearly a competition they're quite keen to do well, and they played a strong team and they've done the business.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the same goes for a few of the guys in the Lowland League. This is everybody likes a bit of silverware, and this is one where they've got a real chance, and they're no different. It was really good to see, obviously, Matty Flynn getting a couple of goals again in this one. A lot of these guys, they're spreading the goals out in East Stirlingshire, so he's only on, I think, 6 or 7 this season, but it's a team that are scoring. They're starting to put together quite a few goals, so it was good to see him getting on the score sheet there. And like you say, well done to Blackburn, because it wasn't a totally one-sided affair. It was only the one goal in it, so they've gone out, and for their home fans they've put on a good show there, which was good to see.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Obviously Blackburn, we've mentioned it millions of times, but obviously a fantastic community club. Obviously David Severs is a fan of Blackburn who does the sort of attendances for all the leagues, so brilliant. I think the thing that's been noticeable from Shire, I mentioned it last week, they seem to be playing a lot of natural defenders. They were playing 5 last week, and now it looked like they played 6 against Blackburn. Do you think that sort of shows that they're maybe changing formation, or maybe just guys wanting game time?
Could be a bit of both. It could be a shift in mentality as well, because you can't get away with playing 8 attacking players. At this level, you've got to have a bit of a kind of solid base to do anything, so it could be anything. It could be just Dell experimenting, or potentially that is the way they're going to go and take more of a Spartans and East Kilbride kind of approach, where the first focus is being sound in defence and then building on that when you move forward. So we'll see how it develops.
Next up we had Bonnyrigg Rose welcoming Threave Rovers in this South Challenge Cup matchup. So it was pretty early on, 16 minutes in, and it was a 1-2 between Ross Gray and Martinook, before Martinook was able to curl a right-footed strike into the top corner, leaving Gemmell in the Threave goal motionless, giving Rose the 1-0 lead. About 5 minutes later, there was a strong shout for a penalty as Brown is tripped in the box, but the ref waved play on. There was another goal 4 minutes later. This time it was Horn that was able to take the ball for a wonder and play a through ball to Scott Gray, who took a touch and bullets an unstoppable drive into the bottom corner to give Rose a 2-0 advantage. And the third and final goal in this one came after 88 minutes. It was another good move that ended with Hunter blasting it into the net to give Rose a 3-0 win on the day. So Bonnyrigg pretty much doing the business in this one, getting a comfortable 3-0, winning a place in the next round. And I think they'll be similar to East Stirlingshire. It'll be some silverware that they'll definitely have an eye on for the end of the season, I think.
You've got to give a wee bit of credit to Threave. Obviously they're doing so well in the south of Scotland, but New Dundas Park's always a hard place to go, as a lot of the Lowland League sides know. George Hunter, we've kind of mentioned him, he's obviously scoring a lot of goals for them, but there's guys like Neil Martinook that are doing the business too. It seems like the whole Bonnyrigg team's kind of firing. A few of the guys obviously coming off the bench, if you will, to get a start in this game. Something we really expected, but always going to be a hard one for Threave, I think.
Yeah, Threave have actually had a pretty decent start to the season, haven't they, in the south? But Bonnyrigg, they're just a really well put together team, and they've proven that so far. It was always going to be an uphill battle for Threave to get anything out of that game, and I think by the sounds of it, they've given a decent account of themselves despite losing 3-0. But yeah, Rose are on a march just now, and I've noticed that some people are beginning to put them as kind of favourites to win the Lowland, so we'll see how they begin to cope with that pressure that's maybe not something they were expecting at the start of the season, but so far so good.
Well, moving on to an all Lowland League tie, it was Spartans versus University of Stirling at Ainsley Park. There was a new signing for Spartans, Jordan Caddo, who used to play for Edinburgh City. I think there was a few fans that were a wee bit disappointed to see him playing for Spartans. Yeah, he's obviously an experienced defender. I did sort of question that one, and then I got my answer obviously when they said it would be his debut. Ian McFarlane continued with the captain's armband in the absence of Adam Corbett. I actually thought Adam Corbett might have been back for this one. It was pretty much the result of the day for me, like I mentioned on Twitter. Spartans had the better of the early exchanges, and within 6 minutes they had taken the lead. Blair Atkinson with some nifty footwork and his low cross along the face of the goal for Scott Maxwell to knock home from close range. Despite the Spartans' early dominance, Stirling Uni did find themselves on level terms with an in-swinging corner. It was caught by the head of a Spartans defender for the Stirling Uni equaliser. 8 minutes into the second half, the advantage kind of swung in the favour of Stirling Uni as they took the lead for the first time in the game. Again from a corner kick. This time the ball was offered more in the air and it was headed home from 6 yards by Liam McMaster. Moments later, Stirling were actually reduced to 10 men after Alex Webb was dispatched by the ref after a despairing last-minute challenge. He had one previously early in the season. Well, we'll obviously hear Chris Geddes' thoughts, but I think he thought it was a bit of a disgrace. I think the word was caused. I don't think he thought it was a sending off. The one previously, I think, was pretty much 50-50. Uphill for Stirling Uni. With 20 minutes on the clock, Spartans tied the round once again when Gregor Wood's corner kick was put in deep, with Mikey Allen was on hand to get the final touch to send it high into the net. Spartans almost had the chance to win it. Atkinson once again showed his pace to get in behind the fence. His cross was just behind Cameron Dawson, who looked to adjust his body position at the last moment. However, his improvised back heel went just wide. The drama wasn't over though. It did look like it was heading to extra time until Jack Jarvis had a free kick and it was unstoppable for Blair Carswell. Stirling Uni won 3-2. Fantastic result, as I mentioned, probably the result of the round for me. Just before we go into it, guys, we'll hear the thoughts of Chris Geddes.
Well, Chris, you progress in the South Challenge Cup and quite a win here at Spartans today.
Yep, delighted with that. Obviously, getting a man sent off with 10 minutes gone in the second half and then to limit Spartans 10v11 to very limited chances, and then obviously a bit of magic at the end got us the win.
Spartans had probably the better start of the two sides and created a few chances, got their noses in front, but you edged your way back into the game.
Yep, they started really well. Difficult formation to play against. They had and they scored after 5 minutes. We weren't happy with it, but then they will be. And then obviously we've got a goal back through JJ. He's whipped a corner and it's going on target, so it's hit a deflection, but it's his goal because it's going in if no one touches it. So 1-1 at half time, and we were quite happy with that.
Early in the second half, there was a major turning point in the game with Alex Webb being sent off. What was your view on the red card?
Listen, I speak to you usually whenever you come up, and I don't think I've ever complained about a refereeing decision, but that was a disgraceful decision. The player wasn't getting on the end of the ball. We had covering players, and it's just new rules. No one knows the rule. We couldn't believe it when he pulled the red out, and again I feel sorry for Alex because the last one he got done was 50-50 as well. So today, for our boys to come back from that against such a quality team, I'm really happy and proud of them.
And they really did dig in, didn't they? Oh,
definitely. We had to play some good shape. Spartans moved the ball. They went 4-2-4, so they just went for it. But again, Kev only had one save to make. We made it 2-1 from a corner, and then Liam a great header before the 10 men, and then obviously Spartans scored from their own corner, and then, well, you've seen the last goal, how good it was.
Well, just talk us through that last goal. It was an absolute beauty, wasn't it?
Yeah, we needed a bit of magic, and we got a free kick about 25 out. I'm sure people will see it on the clip. 93rd minute, I think it was, and JJ's bent it past one of the best keepers in the league into the top corner, and unbelievable. And that's what he's got. He's got a bit of magic. He's got 2 goals today and an assist, so a really good day for Jason, and obviously for the team. The boys know he's got that in his locker, so we needed something like that, I think, to win the game, and obviously I'm delighted and I'm really happy for the boys.
Chris, thanks very much.
No problem, thanks David.
Obviously I want to thank David Chandler and Chris Geddes for that interview. Absolutely delighted. He wasn't too happy with the game last week against obviously Dalbeattie Star. They had a really good result in the Bucks against Northumberland. It looks like he's got the bounce back, if you will, from the lads there.
Yeah, that's a hell of a way to respond, that going and beating Spartans at Ainsley Park, because one of your favourite things to say is you never bet against them at home. So
that's true.
No, fantastic result, especially given they were down to 10 men as well and they conceded the equaliser, because at that point you find it hard to get somebody that wouldn't back Spartans to go through in that instance. But I think one of the stories of the season has been how Stirling Uni have got a cutting edge now, and the work that Chris and the guys are doing there it's coming up roses, and they've done a fantastic job, because their main issue last year was putting games away or finding winners. They were getting so many draws and kind of losing games they should have got something out of. That's not been an issue this year, and they did have a setback against Dalbeattie, but they've not let it affect them. They've bounced straight back, as you've mentioned, and you just need to give them massive congrats, because it wasn't a particularly weakened Spartans side. Spartans wanted to do well in this competition, unlike some other teams that have maybe rotated a bit more. So it was no less a challenge than a normal league game, and they've done brilliantly to get the win.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Credit to Stirling Uni. I think one of the big talking points for the season has been just Spartans at home, because that's another one that they've tripped up at home, which is something that they just haven't done before, especially against a 10-man Stirling Uni side. But not to take anything away from Stirling Uni, I think, like you say, they've been outstanding this season, considering some of the players that they lost. All three of their goals coming for set pieces, corners and free kicks, shows that they're really putting the work in, and they're making those opportunities count. So yeah, really good effort for them. I've had to listen to that Chris Geddes interview as well, and it'll be interesting to watch back, because I don't think he quite agreed with the referee's decision on the red card, and he's not usually one to openly come out against refereeing decisions. So yeah, it'll be interesting if some highlights of that come out.
I was actually going to leave this till a wee bit later, but I think it's probably a perfect time. I expected Spartans to win this one. Obviously, as you mentioned, was I tend to go with them at Ainsley Park. Are Spartans still a top team? I know we sort of disagreed on that early doors. Derek, what are your thoughts?
It's one of the few predictions I've made that might actually come true, isn't it? I didn't do too well with my pre-season thoughts. But yeah, they're still a big team in the league. Like you can't say they're an also-ran, because they're just not. And they've got one of the best managers, if not the best manager in the competition as well. But I just don't think they've got the same quality this year as they've had in previous seasons. In terms of winning the league, purely, they should still be a top 6 team. But I think that more so than in previous years, they're vulnerable. You can get at them by playing the right way and ultimately get wins, get 3 points. So it's a hard one to answer. They're still one of the big teams in this league, or in any of the cup competitions that we play at this level. But yeah, I just feel like they're not as good as they've been previously.
Yeah, I'd agree. I think Spartans are in a bit of a strange sort of transition period, because I think Spartans as a team, I don't think they've got any worse. They might even have got a little bit better, but the league as a whole, it's just took such a massive step forward this year, maybe over the last couple of years, that I think Spartans are always going to be a dangerous team to play against. But this is one year where they're having to cope with that change. But I think they're such a well-run team, like you say, they've got a cracking manager there, that even if this year they do drop out of the top 6, I think they'll be right back in it. So I think it's a tough year for them in a tough league, but yeah, I think they'll bounce back.
I'm relying on them games in hand that they have in the league to sort of prove me right that they're still up there. But nah, you can't take any away from Stirling Uni on that one. Fantastic result. Obviously, Chris Geddes, he's had the reaction from last week in both the Bucks and the game today. Fantastic result, really.
That leads us on to BSC. BSC home to Gallifreydine Rovers, another all Lowland matchup, and it was a bit of a ding-dong battle. Unfortunately, I never made it along, because it turns out moving house takes longer than a couple of days, so I had an absolute nightmare of a week, but here we are. And it started well for the visitors. So Niall Kelly turned it in on the 24-minute mark after a pretty positive start by all accounts from Gala. BSC had made a couple of changes, but still a strong team, as had Gala, to be fair, so it was pretty level pegging for what you'd expect. Just before half-time, the parity was restored. BSC managed to get an equaliser. It was actually another one of these corners diverted past his own keeper by a defender, as with one of the goals in the Spartans game, so there was a bit of an epidemic of it this weekend. But 1-1 at the break, and yeah, I think both managers would have fancied their chances at that point. The big change happened with 20 minutes gone in the second half. BSC took the lead with Tamor picking up the ball and smashing a strike at goal. Morton only managed to palm it as far as Dave Mackay, who was in space, picked up and slammed it home into the back of the net to make it 2-1. If the keeper holds on to that, it might be a different game, but it was a stinging strike. He couldn't get his hands around it enough, and that was BSC in the ascendancy. However, 10 minutes left to go, Tamor actually gets sent off, so he went down in the box under pressure from Caden Ainsley, and the referee showed him a second yellow card accusing of simulation, and that was him down the tunnel. This is something that's happened once or twice to Tam this year. In this instance, I don't think, from what I've seen and what I've heard, that it was particularly fair. It was one of those that might not necessarily have been a penalty, but there was absolutely contact. So he's not the strongest boy. He's going to get knocked down by a big centre half. But yeah, the referee made his decision, and it ultimately didn't affect the final score, because right at the death, with Gala throwing everything forward, the ball was cleared. Lewis Bell, one of the newer signings for BSC, raced through 1-on-1 with Morton. Looked like he'd actually overplayed it, but before just subtly putting the ball underneath the keeper right at the death, and that was it. 3-1. BSC comfortably through to the next round, but a good performance from the visiting Gala Fairy team.
Yeah, I would agree. It's a brilliant effort for them to go 1-0 up as well. That's a good bounce back for BSC to be able to have took that one on the chin and came back to win it quite comfortably. Like you say, a bit disappointing to see a red card for, whether it was for diving or whether it was for a poor refereeing decision. You don't really like to see either of those. But yeah, like you say, BSC, they're definitely a force to be reckoned with this year. They just go out and they just seem to do what they need to do, and they've done it again today against another Lowland League side to progress to the next round of the Cup. So credit where credit's due, well done.
Yeah, we talked about it last season, but in terms of loan signings, BSC done really well, and there's another one, Dave Mackay, and on loan from Celtic, obviously was given man of the match for his performance. The telling thing for me, it was kind of similar last week. I think the game against Gala and the league game, as well as the cup game, there seemed to be a fair bit of tackles. I noticed Michael was getting a wee bit ratty with some of the Gala's play, I guess. I don't know if you noticed that, Muzzer.
Yeah, he doesn't tend to hide what he thinks on Twitter, does he? But that's why the account's quite entertaining, I think. I particularly appreciated the fact that he went into every detail about Caden Ainsley taking somebody by the throat. That was probably the best tweet of the day. But yeah, ultimately, BSC won't mind. It's a win. And into the next round, a competition that quite fancy winning, I'd suggest.
Yeah, I agree, and obviously they're looking very strong in the league as well, especially after that win over Bonnyrigg.
Yeah, that's the thing with the league, though. We've mentioned it already, that these teams all need to play each other. They're up the top, and it'll probably come down to the team that holds their own best against the other sides in the top six, because as long as you don't drop too many points against the rest, you're giving yourself every chance.
So next up, we've got Civil Service Strollers, who welcomed Kelty Hearts to Christy Gellis Park for this one, and it took 17 minutes for the visiting side to open the scoring. It was Nathan Austin again opening the scoring, this time with a header. That was the only goal of the first half, but I wasn't personally at this game, but from what I've read, Kelty were probably the better side in the first half. Second half was a bit of a different story, and early on Strollers were Straight from the kick-off, it was Ryan Shanley's shot that rattled off the bar, and after 59 minutes it was Strollers with the equaliser, and it was Ali Faye scoring from the spot after Shanley was brought down in the box. 65 minutes into play, and it was Nathan Austin who had the ball in the back of the net, but this one chopped off for offside. Controversial one with no lino, so a bit of guesswork for the referee whether he was right or wrong, not for me to say. So yeah, a bit of tail of two halves there, because Stroll is definitely the dominant team in the second half, I think. Into extra time, and it looked as though it was going to go for penalties. Both sides were looking for that winning goal, but it was Nathan Austin with a goal in the 118th minute, right at the death, to give Kelty the 2-1 win in extra time.
I think Strollers, in fairness to them, were a wee bit depleted by the sounds of things. I don't think Mark McConnell was playing, obviously their captain. They had a few more youngsters, obviously. Ryan Shanley's came in from Hibs on loan. He's doing a fantastic job. I think when they played Shire, it looked like they played three up front. They reverted more back to the formation that they're kind of used to playing. I think it was only Ryan Shanley that started up front. So, but at the end of the day, I think Strollers they could have won this game in the second half. From what I've heard from a lot of the Kelty people, I think it was probably one of their worst sort of halves of football this season. Strollers looked, to dominate. One thing that we need to really discuss is Arnie Bembo moving to Kelty. What are your guys' thoughts on that move?
I don't really understand it. I don't see what he provides that kind of improves Kelty as a team, to be honest. Maybe Barry's thinking that he needs a bit more bite in midfield, and he'll certainly get that with Arnie, but I don't know, I thought Kelty's midfield was already pretty reasonably balanced and strong, so it took me off guard. I didn't expect it.
Yeah, I'd echo those same thoughts, especially with the likes of Dylan Easton coming back. Yeah, I think their midfield is quite strong. It'll be interesting to get along to a couple of the games and to see the man in action if he's on the pitch, obviously. Because there's been a few controversial moments already with him when he was at Cumbernauld, and we've already shared a few thoughts from some of his previous games as well. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. I've got to imagine that they've got a purpose for bringing him in, or they're seeing something that we haven't seen. So it'll be interesting to see how this plays out moving forward.
I mean, at his best, he would certainly add something to Kelty, because he's very, very good when he's on his game, but I think he's quite inconsistent as well.
Yeah, I think it's fair. It's fair to mention. I think the idea is, I don't know how long Shaun McCurdy is going to be out injured, so it might be a sort of direct replacement for him just for the moment. The thing that worries me about Bembo is, we've talked about it before, obviously with Cumbernauld Colts, he does have a tendency to get sent off in big games. Obviously Kelty going for a league title this season, he could be a wee bit of a liability. I think he's had 2 or 3 sending offs already this season for Cumbernauld Colts. No doubt he's a decent midfielder. I think we can give him credit for that, but the worrying thing for me would be the bookings.
Yeah, he's not going to win any Fair Play awards anytime soon. He does love a booking, but that kind of goes with the kind of player he is. He loves putting a tackle on.
Yep, absolutely. We'll move on to Caledonian Braves versus Musselburgh Athletic at Alliance Park. I wish Caledonian Braves had a 1 or 2-0 that we could go through, but it always seems to be a lot of goals for them. They won 5-3. They did start off really well. 13th minute, great run from Neil McLaughlin, and a lovely finish gives Cali Braves the lead. 20 minutes gone, and Musselburgh got the equaliser through Daniel McBay, and on the 34th minute, Declan O'Kane gave Musselburgh the 2-1 advantage, and 2 minutes later they went 3-1 up through Liam Gregory, and pretty mental before half time. It was a penalty to Caledonian Braves, but it was saved by Michael Robinson in the Bra goal, and this is where the madness happens. Obviously they had an excellent team goal last week. They done something similar to pretty much get back into the game, with David Winters basically making it 3-2, and just before half time, pretty much in stoppage time, David Sinclair smashes home to bring it level 3-3. Crazy from Caledonian Braves, 3-3 at half time. And the second half, Davy Winter's pretty much the hero. He just can't stop scoring at the moment. I think it's something we've discussed through DMs, Derek. Great pass from Ben Daly, and after a 1-2 with the post, Winters taps home to give Cali Braves the 4-3 lead. And he got his hat-trick, David Winters, to give Cali Braves the 5-3 win. We kind of talked about it a wee bit last week, Shaun, but Davy Winter seems to be coming up trumps for Cali at the moment. Just before we get into it, guys, we will have a word with Ricky Waddle.
After a 5-3 win at home today against Musselburgh, we're through to the next round of the cup. You must be delighted that we're actually through to the next round.
I'm delighted with the second half. I think it's all about being realistic and saying, looking at the game as a whole, to say, right, okay, we're happy with getting through, and I could stand here and say, we're in the next round, but I need to address the goals that we conceded. There's similar goals to that we do concede, and I don't want it to become a thing. We've got to work on it, keep working on it. Boys have got to take real ownership in there. But to answer your question, yes, I'm delighted to get through, but I want progress, I want to improve, and that's obviously a big element of our game that we need to improve on.
Good for yourself that, thinking back, there's a few times we've ended up in that situation. We were a few goals down at half time, maybe conceding the 3 goals, but we've always got that grit and determination. We do usually come back from these situations. Is that important for yourself as a team? Yeah, I said to them in there, I said, I knew you would get chances and score goals. Then obviously Roscoe missed the penalty, and you're thinking goalkeepers, and then Sinky had a really good chance. And then we get the goals after that, but we can just make it easier for ourselves. But I don't really, I wouldn't come down on our guys about scoring goals, because they've got that in them. They always create their quality at doing that. It's just about finding the balance sometimes. And listen, credit to Musselburgh as well. They were a good football side. We don't normally come up against a team that really want to try and play. So real credit to them, and it asked us different questions, which was great. It was great for the team to have those questions asked rather than maybe long balls, or so it was quite sharp players and they were moving the ball quickly. So from a learning perspective, it was good for us. So we can take something from that game. Yeah. You changed the shape at half time and you brought Dom over to the right hand side, who I thought played really well in the second half. What was your thinking going into that?
Our thinking was really not to overcomplicate it too much, but go a kind of offshoot. I just felt in the wider areas they kept switching the ball. So number one, we weren't pressing the ball well enough. Number two, we weren't getting out and shifting across as a back 3 and a back 5. So I changed it into a shape where it put us in that position more naturally. The only one that we gave away was their left back, but I'd asked Dom in possession, unless he can really go and put a challenge into number 3 in possession, to go and play more like a wing back. And leave the kind of the back 4 as a back 3, if you like, with Lewis, Rafi and Jack. And I think it worked quite well actually. It exposed us a wee bit at times, but not as much as the 3-5-2.
The second goal was another great team goal. Maybe the timing of the goal didn't appreciate it as much, but looking back, that's 2 weeks in a row we've scored 2 great team goals, and yourself saying during the week, as a team we can score these kind of goals. How impressive is it for yourself to watch those goals?
They impress me all the time with that stuff. Some of their play training on Tuesday night, honestly, like from a purely football perspective, to watch it and to coach it, joy, absolute joy. You're coming away for that and driving home late at night thinking, what a bunch of boys to go and produce that quality in training. You don't always get that, and that reaps the rewards, because I want them to play, I want them to go and express themselves, I want them to pass the ball, because that's ultimately, if anybody's come down to the game, they want to see a good team, playing good football, but we need to get the balance. And I felt last week we got the balance right. Today, at times in the second half, we really did. We were solid, and the boys were disappointed with themselves. I knew, I had a feeling deep down that we'd go on, and if we could get that 4th goal, we could go and be comfortable in the game.
Like you just mentioned, David Winters, that's 6 goals in 3 games for him since he's came back from his injury. How important is it, especially at his age, to keep going to those goals, getting those goals?
I spoke to him yesterday, Thursday rather, than just kind of finding out about how his fitness level, how he's feeling. But he keeps himself fit, he's trim, he doesn't look the age, other than his hair, that he is. But he, Davey's a big part of what we're doing here, and Davey is influencer in that dressing room. He's a good influence to the guys because he's really positive with what the communication that he gives to the players, and that's invaluable. And that, for a coach's perspective, to pass my messages onto the park is key. And I'm delighted for him to get the goals that he's been getting, because at the start of the season he wasn't scoring. But that's what happens with strikers. You best strikers in the world go through stages like that. So it's about keep plugging away, getting better, focusing on the next game, taking what we're going to take from this game, and moving forward. Cheers.
We obviously want to thank Caledonian Braves and Ricky Waddle for that interview there. It must be frustrating for Ricky, surely, because they're scoring tons of goals, but defensively, they were 3-1 down there. It must be, he must be pulling out his hair at times with the team.
Yeah, to be fair, they're giving their fans their money's worth, aren't they? But despite the fact that their games just now just seem to be absolute goal fest, they're still coming on top of most of them. The occasional one you kind of look at and think, I'm not so sure about that. They've got through. That's the main thing. I don't know what's happened to Davey, because he's just scored never any touches just now. I do hope he's recorded a new goal celebration at some point though, because he's dancing stinking in the one that goes up the now. But I do need to give a massive amount of credit, and we'll all have seen it by now. If you haven't done, get onto Cali Braves Twitter, because the team goal that they scored, that they put the video up, is probably better than the last one that went viral. And it's just a fantastic bit of football that it shows that at this level you can play nice, attractive passing football and still get results. You don't need to do kick and rush. And it was just a great goal, full stop. But knowing that we're the Lowland League podcast, it's natural for us to focus on the teams in our league, but you've got to give Musselburgh a bit of credit here as well, I think, because they've gone for a ding-dong battle. They've given that a right good go, and they've been unlucky in the end. But yeah, Cali Braves keep on marching, and we'll see who they get in the next round.
Been some outstanding goals out of that side. They had another two where they strung a bunch of passes together, and they were able to just... The finishing on each of those goals was fantastic as well. This Cali side as well, they went 3-1 down. You mentioned the defensive play and their side being a little bit... If you go back and you look at the goals, it was silly mistakes, and you see if they can plug that up, they're going to be a really good side. And I suppose one of the big positives to take away for Cali is it's definitely a football team that have definitely got a vision. You can see that they know exactly where they want to go with everything that they do, and their style of play is one of those things as well. And the stringing a bunch of passes together and keeping the ball and playing possession football when you're 3-1 down, I think it takes a lot of grit to stick to that kind of that mentality. But they did it. Their second goal after going 3-1 down, they strung another 18-19 passes together before heading it into the back of the net. Just shows really good composure, and they've stuck to what they believe in, and they've gone away with the win against a Musselburgh side that they might be struggling a little bit in the East of Scotland Premier, but that's not exactly a walk in the park league either, is it?
Well, Caledonian Braves, I think they won my goal of the season. I mentioned it last week, Shaun, but God, I don't know how you can really argue with them if they keep doing goals like this every week.
They're having their own goal of the season competition at this stage, aren't they?
Yeah, definitely.
So the final South Challenge Cup game was Cumbernauld Colts playing host to Jeanfield Swifts, and yeah, again it was a win for the Lowland side, but again they didn't have it all their own way, so went in at the half-time break goalless. Two great chances missed by Cumbernauld through the course of the first half, but other than that, it was pretty even, pretty level pegging. We had to wait until the hour mark to get the breakthrough, and it was Craig Holmes putting the ball away from the penalty spot after Fraser team was fouled in the box. But other than that, there wasn't too much else in terms of goalmouth action. Jeanfield kept it really tight at the back. We know Colts are capable of getting a couple of goals, but much the same, they kept it tight at their own end, and they got the win. Albeit they would have maybe wanted a couple more goals, that's all that matters. And through they go into the next round, so they're still right in with a shout chasing the trophy here. But I don't want to sound as if we're demeaning the East of Scotland sides, because we keep saying they've given it a right go and they've done well, but it is genuine praise we're giving here, because they're playing against sides in the Lowland that I probably fancy their chances. I've been right up at the top end of things here, and there's just nothing in these games. It's the odd goal here and there mostly. So, yeah, I think there's absolutely no shame for the sides that have gone out from East of Scotland this time round, because they've pushed them all the way.
I mentioned that in last week's podcast that I thought somebody would slip up because the East of Scotland is a strong division, and funnily enough, nobody slipped up in the South Challenge Cup this time. So
Yeah.
but I think it's a cracking league, I think. 100%. And I suppose when we get onto the Football Nation Qualifying Cup, there was a wee bit a positive for the East of Scotland League. They did manage to get one win over the Lowland League, but no, I think Cumbernauld they should have won this one a bit more comfortably. It wasn't one where I thought Genefield would come in and take this so close to the wire against Cumbernauld, but Cumbernauld have already been beaten at home by an East of Scotland side. I don't know what's going on with Colts, because I think it's a game, like I say, not to take anything away from Genefield Swifts, but it should have been a game that I think Cumbernauld should have been able to win a bit more comfortably. Don't know if that's harsh.
I know we kind of differed on this one, Shaun, but I kind of expected all the Lowland League teams, other than the fact if they were playing Lowland League teams, to get through, so pretty much spot on. But in terms of Cumbernauld Colts, especially at Broadwood, you would expect them to go out and win a wee bit more comfortably, because Genefield, in fairness to them, they're not as strong as they were last season, in my opinion. And from what I've heard, the penalty might have been a wee bit soft.
Yeah, I'd heard that as well.
I know that's going from the Genefield sort of perspective, if you will, but yeah, Cumbernauld Colts, I mean, they'll be happy with the win to get through, but I don't know what's going on currently with them, but they'll be happy with the win, but they need to really see what's going on there, because they are a good team. We know that they're usually top level Lowland League, from top 6 to maybe like 8th or 9th, but I just don't know what's going on with them. They tend to start strong. They've been a wee bit sort of inconsistent from a great start to the season. The thing that you usually say, Moz, is they tend to fall away second half, but they seem to be falling away a wee bit earlier than second half this season.
Yeah, I'd hesitate to say it until results go south, because they're still getting points on the board and they're still getting through the cups, but it's certainly concerning, I'd suggest, if you're a follower of the Colts, and obviously we'll see how things develop over the next few weeks.
Let's move on to the Football Nation Qualifying Cup, and we had two Lowland League sides competing within that competition over the weekend, and I'm going to run you through, but Dundonald Bluebell against Edinburgh University, and unfortunately we've not been able to find too much on this, but Dundonald did run out 6-4 winners in this one. Detail further than that we've not been able to get a hold of so far, but yeah, I suppose for Edinburgh University, it was good that they were able to go out and put some goals in the back of the net, but they can't be conceding 6 goals in these competitions. Dundonald are a side that are doing relatively well in the East of Scotland. I think that they've got a fair few games in hand, but if they do well in those, they'll be sitting close to the top. They've only, I think, dropped points to Pennycook, who have proved already. We've already spoke about them, that they're a good side in the East of Scotland. But yeah, Dundonald progressed to the next round of the Football Nations Qualifying Cup with a 6-4 win over Edinburgh Uni.
Yeah, really well done from Dundonald Bluebell there. As you mentioned, mate, it's good that Edinburgh Uni have went out and scored 4, but it was one thing I kind of was critical of them, because it didn't seem like it just looked like they wasted a lot of chances in the final third from what I've seen of them this season. So it's great that they've went out and scored 4, but it seems to me like the defences went a wee bit backwards, obviously conceding 6 against, in fairness, a lower level opposition is just not great at all. And again, going with the start of the season prediction, I think Edinburgh Uni have a lot of worries. I know they've pulled off some results so far, but I would be a bit concerned if you're looking at Edinburgh Uni at the moment.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think, to be fair, their focus will be on the league, because ultimately their battle this year is to stay in the league. But I must admit, when I first saw the scoreline, I thought somebody got it wrong. I thought it was a wind up, because Uni don't tend to score 4 goals. But yeah, you give the credit to Dundonald where it's due. It might just have been one of those freak games where everyone hit the back of the net, because it's very rare that you see 10 goals in a game like that.
Yeah. Moving on to our final game in the Football Nations Qualifying Cup, it was at Raydale Park, Gretna versus Newton Grange Star. It was Newton Star that actually took the lead just before half time on the 38th minute. Kyle Scott continues his goal scoring form by heading the ball home. Not long into the second half, Gretna got the equaliser through an own goal on the 49th minute, and it was a goal for Ryan Rogers that gave Gretna the win on the 54th minute. Gretna held on for the 2-1 win and moved on to the next round of the Football Nation Qualifying Cup. Another cup win for Gretna, a really decent win. We saw in earlier in the season, Shaun, they looked pretty good. Obviously, Kyle Scott's pretty much the goal scorer for Nitons. Gretna, I think it's a much needed win. They obviously got a huge win against an East of Scotland team in the Scottish Cup. Obviously, Hill of Beef, another awesome win. But I think they need to start doing it in the league now, I would suggest. But no, I can't take anything away from Gretna. Obviously, Ryan Rogers, a really decent talent for Gretna, has done the business for them to get them through that one.
Yeah, they've done a good job there to get through. I don't think it was a game that they went into thinking it was in the bag. It was going to be an easy game. They're a team that struggled a bit this year, and they've had to go out and they've had to fight hard to win that game. So well done to Gretna for that one, and hopefully, like you say, I think you hit the nail on the head. They need to now start mirroring that a bit more in the league, because the bottom of that Lowland League is going to be, I think it's going to be very close come the end of the season, and it's going to be one or two goals, to be honest, not even points, that's going to make the difference.
Yeah, they're just showing little signs, aren't they, Gretna? There's little things happening that you feel like they might turn the corner. Couple of decent cup wins. On the league front, they've had a couple more kind of more positive performances of late, but I think they need to stitch a couple of wins together in the league to really get things moving, because it's hard enough as a new gaffer. Chris Humphreys will tell you, no doubt, but his goal will be to get the first 3 points. Suddenly it could be a different story to the season for them, because as it stands, they're still in pretty big danger. And nobody will be keen to go down to the East of Scotland with how strong it is, regardless of cup result. So we'll see how it develops. But Ryan Rogers, it's good to see him beginning to get in the goal trail again as well. Yeah, it's a squad that obviously needs to gel together, and hopefully for their sake, they're pretty much at that point now where they're beginning to be a cohesive unit.
Another talking point while we're on Gretna as well is they obviously signed a new keeper between the sticks, Aaron Taylor. I don't know a great deal about him, but he's played at a higher level with the likes of Annan Athletics, so that could be a positive, because that's something that we spoke about their squad depth, the fact that it can be a bit tricky to bring players in. They thought maybe with Chris Humphreys coming in it would help attract a few players in, but yeah, they've got a new keeper between the sticks there, so hopefully that helps them as well, because they've took a few poundings in the league this season so far.
Yeah, it was an interesting pickup.
Yep. Just before we move on, obviously no Vale leaving for the next 2 weeks. Sorry, Vale fans. So we'll move on. Pretty much still cup action. We have one Lowland League game on Friday night. It's East Stirlingshire versus Kelty Hearts. The kick-off is 7:45. A massive game. The game of the season for me last season was the 3-3 game against these two at Falkirk Stadium in the league. I'm expecting a pretty I wouldn't say fiery game, but if it's anything to go with what happened last season, I would expect a real fight in this one. I don't know who to call, to be honest. I think especially at Falkirk Stadium, Shire might fancy their chances. Certainly Kelty, they've not had they've been kind of a wee bit jaded, I think, in certain halves of football. We saw it against Stirling Uni, we saw it against possibly Berwick and Civil Service Strollers. So I think Shire will fancy their chances in this one.
Definitely. I genuinely can't call this one. It's a massive game, and given that it's the only league game this weekend, there'll be a lot of eyes on it as well. Yeah,
absolutely. I think there's a lot of pressure on Kelty, because this is a game where they could leapfrog Bonnyrigg with that game in hand. However, I think Shire are going to be they're going to be causing a lot of trouble for Kelty in this one. They do really well from set pieces. They've got a lot of experience in that squad, and Kelty have slipped up a few times playing against set pieces, so unless Kelty can sort that out for this game, I think that they could concede a few goals against Shire. I think they'll score some as well. I don't think it's going to be a low scoring affair, but I'd give the edge to Shire in this one.
Wow. I wasn't expecting that, Shaun. I think it's a difficult one to call, obviously. Both teams, Shire have kind of came more into the league now in terms of trying to get to the top. Kelty are still up there, obviously, as a team. I think it's a massive game, really. There's no two ways about it, basically. But I think I can't call it. I really can't. I don't think I can give the edge to either team. I think on paper, if you look at the squads, they're both quite strong. I'd probably, in terms of quality, in terms of like Nathan Austin, people like Scotland, and obviously you mentioned set plays, he can obviously fire in a ball. On paper, I would say probably Kelty Hearts, but going by what's happened and how Kelty have played, how Shire have sort of came into it, I think it's pretty even going into this game.
I mean, on the bright side, at least it's easy to pick the Lowland League game of the week.
True. So we'll move into the Scottish Cup action. Bonnyrigg Rose versus Buckie Thistle, top of the Highland, I think, still. So, it's a massive game. It's on TV. You don't have to leave your house. Obviously, I think Bonnyrigg would appreciate it if you turned up at New Dundas Park. 5 minutes past 7 for the kick-off. I wish I could see this one, but I'm probably going to be at the Shire game, to be honest. So it's another brilliant advertisement for the league. I just hope Bonnyrigg do a wee bit better than Kelty did in the last round, and hopefully they can get past Buckie.
Yeah, I'm pretty confident the Rose will be the favourites here to go through. They've got cup pedigree. They've had a couple of brilliant runs recently. Buckie Thistle are obviously a very decent outfit as well. It's not long since they've last won that Highland League. They'll fancy their chances now that Cove aren't in it. But yeah, I'm going to side with Rose to get through that one. But more importantly, given it's a telly game and there's good exposure there, I just want it to be a good advert for both leagues, to be honest, for this level of football.
Yeah, I'm sure it will be, but I agree with both you guys. Bonnyrigg playing at home, given their current form, I think they should win that one quite comfortably.
Elgin City versus Berwick Rangers at Boroughbriggs. This is an interesting one for me because Elgin City, I don't think are doing that well in League 2, if I remember correctly. Berwick Rangers obviously doing a wee bit better. They've not had the results as such in the league, but I think I would expect them to be up for this one. I think the travel's maybe a wee bit of a hindrance to them, but they didn't play this weekend, so I think they'll be fresh. I think Ian Little will have a squad in mind who's going to be playing, and I really hope Berwick can get a result here. Elgin City obviously is still in the higher league in League 2, but I do, if I remember correctly, I don't think they've won a lot in League 2 this season, so I think Berwick have a chance of this one. I really do.
Yeah, I think if it wasn't for the travel, I'd give them a shot. I just think that journey up to Boroughbriggs and Elgin tend to be a lot better at home. I think they're just more likely to go through, and it's not completely out of the realms of possibility for Berwick. I just can't see it myself as much as I'd like to see it. Elgin have had a wee bit of up and down times in the League 2, but ultimately they've still got an okay squad there, and they should on a kind of normal day go through, but who knows, it's a one-off game.
Yeah, I think Berwick are definitely coming into their own a little bit after a bit of a ropey end to last season and ropey start to this season, but I think Elgin at home are going to prove a bit too strong. It's a hefty travel as well for them to get up there, so I think Berwick will put up a good fight, but I think it's Elgin's to lose.
So moving on to our next game, it's Highland versus Lowland League again. It's Formartine United versus Gallifreydine Rovers at North Lodge Park. Another travel for our Lowland League team, Gallifreydine Rovers. Formartine, there are 6 in the Highland League. I've just double checked that. It's pretty. It looks kind of like two sort of mid-table teams, I would suggest, on paper. Because obviously Gala, they've done a wee bit better than we expected to start the season. I don't know how to call this one. What are your guys' thoughts?
It's a tough one. Formartine's a really kind of strange wee club, because I say that in a positive way, by the way, before anyone comes at me. Because I've been to their ground and it's a great wee facility they've got, but it's almost in the middle of nowhere. It's a cracking wee pitch and ground they've got, and their owners get a wee bit of money behind as well, so he's obviously kind of doing the right things with it in terms of investing in facilities and development. But yeah, as you say, they're sixth in the league. They're kind of maybe in a slightly better position than Gala, just purely in terms of strength in their respective leagues. But this is one that's up in the air. It could go either way. You'd put a slight preference in the home side, I'd suggest, but who knows? It's the Scottish Cup, and it wouldn't actually surprise me to see Gala go up there and either get a replay or get a result.
Yeah, I think Gala will be going up there looking, well, obviously they'll be looking for the win, but they'll be quite happy to take a home tie, a replay in this one. But I think I was the same as you, Chris. I went and had a look to see where they were in the league, and if you drill down in the detail a bit, I mean, they've played 10, they've won 7 of those. They've only conceded 5 goals, and that's in a Highland League where they score a lot of goals in that league. And you know what? In the last round of the Scottish Cup, I think they won quite comfortably as well. I think it's theirs to lose for Martin. But I'd love to see Gala go up there and do the business, and maybe even just bring a replay down to Gala, because that would definitely give them a good enough edge that I'd put my money on them.
Another all Lowland League tie, East Kilbride versus Gretna 2008 at K Park. You would have to give the advantage to East Kilbride, I would suggest. Gretna, I don't think they've had a few, I think beating Hill of Beef was a bit of an upset considering how decent Hill of Beef are in the east of Scotland, but East Kilbride are a completely different animal, if you will. I can't look past East Kilbride at K Park.
Yeah, this isn't the game that Gretna wanted to follow up a win in the Cup. You've got to go for a home win here. To be honest, I don't think Gretna will be too disappointed if that's the case, because it'll allow them to put all their focus where it needs to go.
Yeah, I think it's East Kilbride. I can't see it going any other way, to be honest. Not to take anything away from Gretna, but I think their run of success in the cup matches will come to an end on Saturday.
Spartans versus Queen's Park at Ainsley Park. I usually go with Spartans at Ainsley Park, but I've kind of jinxed them. Queen's Park, similar to Elgin actually, they're struggling a wee bit in League 2. Spartans will really want to get through this one, but I think it's going to be difficult. I know Queen's Park, similar to Elgin, are struggling a wee bit this season in League 2, but it's difficult, I think, to call it. But I would probably have to go with Queen's Park going in the higher league, I think.
Yeah, I think I'd go the other way, to be honest, and maybe I'm jinxing it here saying Spartans at home, but Queen's, I think it'll be a good advert for the league if Spartans can get this one in the bag, but they're still a very good side, and Queen's Park, they're in a bit of a rough time in League 2 at the moment, and they are going to come to Ainsley Park, hopefully a decent crowd for it. Yeah, I think Spartans, it's a tough one to call it, but I think Spartans are going to do enough to be able to win this over a struggling Queen's Park side.
I feel quite good about Spartans' chances in this one, to be honest. They've not been as good at home as we've mentioned already as before, but in a one-off cup tie, I think they'd fancy their chances against any League 2 team visiting Ainsley Park, so it probably helps that Queen's Park have had a wee bit of an up and down time as well this year. Yeah, let's be confident, let's go for a home win and a wee bit of a shock result.
Well, maybe me going against them might actually get to see them through that for once. Maybe I was jinxing them all along. End of the Saturday games, we'll go with Lochee United versus BSC Glasgow at Thompson Park. This is an interesting one, obviously. Lochee being a sort of junior side still. I'd probably have to go with BSC Glasgow, in all honesty, given that we know their strength, we know how good they are in the Lowland League. I don't really know too much about Lochee United, in fairness.
I'm really looking forward to it. I kind of like you, don't know too much about Lochee, but I do know it's going to be a cracking away day in a ground I've never been to, so I'm really looking forward to the trip, and fingers crossed we'll get our name in the next round of the Scottish Cup. But hey, no game's easy at this point, and they've got just as much right to expect to get through as any team. Lochee, they had a cracking year last year. They've got a decent squad. I don't know what to expect, and that's why I'm looking forward to it so much.
Yeah, I think road games can always be a bit of a banana peel, especially in the cup games, but I think BSC Glasgow should be able to go ahead and progress to the next round in this one against Lochee United side.
And a fixture that's just moved to Sunday, it'll be our final fixture. It's University of Stirling versus Linlithgow Rose at Forth Bank Stadium, 3 o'clock kickoff. Obviously, knowing what's happened at Linlithgow Rose over the last few weeks, I would have given the University of Stirling the advantage here, but Linlithgow Rose has just announced that Brown Ferguson is going to be their new manager, so he's obviously very experienced and knows what he's doing. Linlithgow Rose is still a very strong East of Scotland team. Obviously, we know guys like Ross Allam and Thomas Coyne and stuff, so a difficult one for University of Stirling. They're back at home. If they play as well as they did against Kelty, I think they could get a result, but I think it's going to be difficult against a very strong Linlithgow Rose team.
Yeah, it's another tough one to call. Brown was obviously well thought of when he was at Sterry. It just didn't quite work at the end, but I can't call that one. Maybe just purely on the basis that they've came off a great result, go for Uni and Chris Geddes, but who knows? That's a good thing about this weekend's fixtures. There's so many there that you just can't tell.
I'm usually quite confident in when the ties are quite tight and picking one and sticking it. I'm not usually one that says that I can't pick one in this, but do you know what? If Stirling Uni have their way and hey, the type of good days that they can have, I think they should be able to win it. But yeah, I think he's right. Linlithgow are going to be on a bit of a high. I think they're the type of football club that they really like these games against the Lowland League sides. They see it as a chance to get their name out there a wee bit more. So I can't call it either. It just depends who has the rub of the green, I suppose, on the day.
Yeah, hopefully Stirling beat them 5-0, but we'll move on to plugs. I'll let you go first, Derek.
Yeah, just the usual. At Moza Plays on Twitter and pretty much everywhere else you'll find me through there. How about you, Shaun?
Find me on Twitter at SpedandShaun. You can find us on Facebook at Lowland League Catchup.
And for myself, it's at Rampant FM, and you can find the Catchup on Twitter at Official Catchup. We obviously want to thank everyone that contributes to the show, obviously the interviews and stuff, everyone that listens, the players, the managers, the league for supporting us, obviously people like George Fraser. We'll be back next week for that one Lowland League tie, East Stirlingshire versus Kelty Hearts, and obviously all of the Scottish Cup action. We'll see you soon.
See you later.